Hello, welcome. My name is Agert from Germany and I'm MVP for Office Apps and Services. And today I want to talk to you about how to adopt Microsoft Teams, especially at SMB customers, smaller customers. And why do we have to talk about this topic? What is the difference between SMB and Enterprise customers? And I will show you this in the next slide. In SMB customers, so smaller companies around 50, 100 or 200 employees, there are many things different. That must not be different, but here are some main points that could be different. So first of all, they have less software solutions because they don't need so many different solutions in a smaller company. And the impact is that they don't have that they're not so used to learn new software solutions. Yeah? So this is one part. The second is that they don't have so many collaboration tools. They are not used to collaborate via any tools. It's maybe much easier to go to the next door and talk to the person in person. Of course, COVID learned us that this is not so easy to do when you're sitting in the home office. So that's why we also need collaboration tools, of course, in smaller companies. And also the technological development is missing. While maybe these small companies have one or two administrators and they have to handle first and second level support. So they have no time to develop the technical solutions in this company. Or they maybe have an external partner who helps them with the technical development. But also from this external partner, it depends how good this development will be. And so we also have small offices, as I already told you. It's much easier to go to the next person when you have a question than in bigger companies where you definitely do not go to the other person if it's in a different building. And in smaller companies, I think there's less pressure to invent. That's my opinion. Maybe it's a little bit easier to do and they are more agile. So it's not that big impact on inventing solutions. So as I just told you, many problems will be solved just by going to the next person and have a quick meeting. So the next thing then is that Teams comes around the corner. So what I want to tell you is there is mainly one person or two who are responsible why they talk about Teams in the company. So often it's influenced by the boss, of course, because he is meeting other bosses at the golf course and they talk about it. And one is talking to the other and says, hey, we are using Teams, that's so great. So the boss comes home to his company and says, oh, we need to adopt also Teams because my buddy told me that's so cool. Yeah, okay, this is maybe one point why we are talking about Teams. Others are, we have interested employees that know, they heard about Teams and they had a look at it. Maybe they found it because Office 365 is already rolled out and they find suddenly Teams in this area. Or maybe other customers want to use it and they come to the company and say, hey, we're using Teams. We can collaborate together in Teams. So please do use Teams also, as we do. All in common is that there are small groups who see the advantages. Whether it's the boss, the employees, or the small group of employees, or the customer who comes to me and says we need to use Teams. So this small group we have to develop. When they start in this small group, this might be a problem because they do not talk to all the others. What we see here is the ProSci flight risk model, and it shows very good what happens when we're talking about using new tools in a company. And of course, you know the communication, the comfort zone, and leaving the comfort zone is something people don't want to. So when we talk about a new tool, what we may introduce in this company, maybe the people, when they don't know why we are doing this, they leave the comfort zone, they're getting fear and resistance because they don't want this change. This is the part of the change management, and they don't want this change. So this is one big topic for Microsoft Teams adoption and change management. This is the wording for this. We need the knowledge of change management to interact in this part, and that's no difference from smaller companies to bigger companies. In every case, people are moving out of their comfort zone, and this is a big problem for them. So as you can see here, maybe we only get in the yellow zone where they have some worries, but it's not a big problem. But maybe some people come in the red zone, and so we are talking about fluctuation and of course active resistance, and we have to handle this. So when only a few people start using Teams and they talk to others, there might be a problem because the others don't understand why they should use it. As I remember in my workshops, when we talk about Teams and maybe we do not use emails to talk to each other, we're using chat, or we're using the channels in Microsoft Teams, they often ask me very angry and afraid, so we do not need Outlook anymore. I just understand how to use this, and you want to take this away from me, and you can see the fear in their eyes. So of course we have to handle this problem when people have fear and resistance and this could go very fast. And this resistance is in smaller companies a special problem. Why? Because in bigger companies we have bigger groups. Bigger groups means not everybody is possible to talk to each other because there are so many people in this company. In smaller companies, it's much easier for them to talk to each other. Maybe they meet in the canteen for a meal, and so one person who has resistance against Teams, it's much easier for him to influence all the others and tell them that Teams is not a good solution, because maybe he thinks it's not a good solution. He didn't understand why we need something like Teams, a collaboration tool. And so it's much easier for him to influence all the others. And so maybe he's also getting a ringleader, and he acts as a ringleader for all the others. And so we get a big problem because this one person has much more power to influence all the others in this smaller company. That's not so easy in bigger companies. So we come to the main point. It's my 5 tips around successful change. So if you're watching this and you have the responsibility to introduce Teams or to adopt Teams in your company, or maybe for your customer, especially in smaller companies, I want to show you 5 tips that I am used to, what we can do to make it better. First of all, start with the why. Maybe you know this already, but it is so important that I need to talk about this in this point. Start with the why. You have to explain to the people why they need Teams or why they need this new solution. What is the vision we have? We are also talking about the sponsors. Often it's the boss of this smaller company who needs to explain what is the vision of using Office 365 or maybe Teams especially for this company. What's the main point why this company needs it? And we have to explain it to the people. That's first of all the main thing that we need to do. And what the question is next is, what's in for me or for the company? We have to explain the people how this solution could help them in their daily work. Everybody just wants to do his daily work most easy. So when we have solutions like Teams, maybe the daily work gets even better and faster, but we have to explain to the people. So what's in for me? And of course, it's called Teams. It's not a personal solution, it's a team solution. So we also have to show what's in for the company. What's possible when we use this solution in the company and how can we develop our company in this part. So I think this is a very, the second thing is also very important to have an answer for this, what's in for me, what's in for the company. Next is build a team. Find the people who enjoy a high reputation. Yeah, well, especially in main process with good communication skills. What we need is a smaller team who helps us to adopt Microsoft Teams in a company. Whether it's a smaller company or a big company, in every case, we need these helping peoples. In the Microsoft speech, we're talking about champions. So these are the people who have the ability and also the knowledge, and they're interested in these new solutions, and they want to help to adapt it in the company and help the other employees in this company, their colleagues. And what I want to tell you is find the people with a higher reputation. Because in every company you have informal leaders. Yeah? They are not the CEO or the team leaders. They are maybe just normal employees in the company, but when they say we go this way, many people will follow them. They have a higher reputation. And find these people and get them in the champions team. Because it's much easier to convince other employees to do or to adopt with teams, use teams, when the informal leader says, okay, this is really a good thing, we want to use it because we have so many positive aspects for our daily work. And so many people will follow. Maybe they even didn't understand the way why we are going it. But just because of this person is talking about so positive, they will adopt it and start using it. So this is also a special topic in my opinion for smaller companies where you have this informal leaders. So get them, find them, and put them in the champions team. Yeah. Fourth is change needs room. Leave room for farewell and listen to the people, and you will be listened to. It is so important. Using these new solutions is very emotional. We are talking about fear and anger and resistance. This is emotion. And these emotions we have to handle with. And the easiest way to do it is that we, of course, leave room for farewell, because maybe they lose their comfort zone, they lose their main points, how they do their daily work, and they have to change this. And yeah, well, this needs farewell. They have to talk about it, and they have to learn the new stuff, and this will take time. And I think it's also very important to talk to these people, talk about their fears and resistance, and help them to go through these emotions to a better adoption. And in change management, we're always talking about the individual person. We have to get everybody at this point where he is standing to the target point where we want to go. And the point where the people are maybe in every case different. So maybe one of them is not so used to use IT, and he has fear or anger about using this, and so we have to talk maybe different to him to people who are used to use IT equipment every day, maybe also in their free time. Fifth is set milestones and celebrate success. This is the thing. With good leaders, of course, in your company, you know this. Maybe you don't have so good leaders, and so setting milestones and celebrate success is something that, especially in Germany, is a problem, because we're always thinking about the next step, what we have to do. So we do not celebrate success so much. So maybe this is one point why we have this on this slide. I'm coming from Germany. But in every case, it's very important to set these milestones, and when you get them, when you reach them, celebrate the success that you got it. It's very also emotional. It's a part where all the others are happy to reach this milestone, and you can clap on your shoulders of your people and say, this is great that we reached this first target or this milestone. So these are around 5 tips I want to give you that maybe help you to easier adopt Microsoft Teams in companies. And the next thing is we have a look at the customer journey a little bit. So how are we doing this? And first of all, I want to talk about 3 must-have workshops. Of course, in smaller companies, we don't have so many days we can spend as an external or also as an internal person on workshops. But we have 3 essential workshops we have to do. And the first one is that we want to use the BDM workshop or the pilot team workshop. In a smaller company, it's maybe a BDM workshop, so the business decision maker workshop. We will have a look at it in the further slides, what is in the BDM workshop. The second is we need a workshop for the champions. I already talked about it. These are the people who help us to adopt Microsoft Teams in their company. So we also have to do a workshop with these champions because they have more knowledge than all the others in this special case for Microsoft Teams. And so we do this workshop. And this third thing is we need to train our users. So we need a user training and user workshop where we all explain how to use Microsoft Teams. We will have a look at it a little bit later. We have also add-on workshops. Add-on workshops are not must-have workshops, but we hope to implement these workshops at our customers, but there's no need to. First of all, we have the use case shopping, where we look how can Teams or maybe any other Office 365 solution help us in this company or this individual person, the employee, in his daily work. So maybe there are some small use cases or bigger use cases we have to find, and then it's much easier to adopt this solution at the company because everybody wants to have this. Process analysis is very, very important because when we have processes that depend on more departments than one department, and they have to collaborate together and they work together, it's very important to have this process analysis workshops where we get from every department one responsible person in this workshop, and we talk with them about how do they work and how does the work get to the next department, and how's the process. And this will be implemented in Microsoft Teams and the channels, and we do this together with all departments. This is very important in the process analysis. Then we have the executive enabling, where we help the executives or the team leaders or the leaders just to use Office 365 or Microsoft Teams in special for this group of people. This is very important because the leaders need to go in front. They have to show all the others that they use these new solutions at first. This is a very important part. So we have extra special trainings for executives. And we have the collaboration workshops. This is very nice when we're talking about maybe hardware solutions like Surface Hub, what we have here, or Microsoft Teams Room systems. We go in these workshops and we show the people how these technical things work, how they can use them, what are the use cases for Microsoft Surface Hub especially, or we also talk about small solutions in Office 365 that maybe Planner, OneNote or Power Automate, really cool features we have, but we need to show them to the people. So this is the collaboration workshops. They are free to attend for all the employees. And this is maybe or mostly very good, very many people in this collaboration workshops because they help in the daily work very much. Okay, the first thing I already talked about was the business decision maker workshop, and we have a look at it. How is this structured? Well, we have, of course, the executive, the managing directors, the team leaders in this workshop. Maybe in a company around 100 employees, we have 10 to 15 people maybe here. in smaller companies where you have less than 20 employees for the whole company, I think you can put every employee in this workshop, because then we have something like the user training and the BDM workshop is all in one. But in companies with more than 20 people, of course not. We have the team leaders, the executives in this workshop. And what we're talking in this workshop is, first of all, we're talking about awareness, the cultural change. We need to talk about why do we need something like teams. I don't want to give you all the topics right now, but something like cultural change, younger people coming in the companies, different aspect, how to using digital equipment and so on. Then we have the part of the desire. So what is the idea of teams? What about email? What is changing? And we want the people, the BDMs, to understand and to get them willing to use these new solutions, because they are so helpful. This is what we're doing in the desire. Then we have, of course, the knowledge. So we show teams in a small demo. Maybe they already have seen teams, maybe not. So this could be a part. This is longer or shorter. It depends on the people in this workshop. And we're talking about ability, so they need to do it on their own. So everybody has a laptop and they get a demo account and they can use Teams and they can try something out. We have a piece of paper where there's an introduction, what they should use or what they should do in this demo client to learn all these new features that are in there. And the last part is the main part. It is the brainstorming. When we have 3 or 4 hours talked about Microsoft Teams and they tried a little bit in the demo, it is very important to use this power. The 4 hours talking about Teams, we use this power to then find use cases, because we have the leaders in this employee workshop, So it's very important to use this knowledge of the people, because they sit there and maybe they already think about, okay, how could Teams help me in my department? And these ideas, we need to collect them. And therefore, we're doing a brainstorming at the end of this workshop where everybody has to talk about what he thinks could help this solution in his company. We use this brainstorming results in later workshops, the champions, just to go then in the department and talk about it. Maybe your leader talked about this solution, maybe it could help you. Is this so? And we could develop then these ideas. Okay. Next would be, this is a result. This is a big mind map, what we get when we are doing this brainstorming. It's always like this. There are many, many ideas from the leaders coming when they first understood how to use Teams or what the main idea of using Teams. Next would be the Champions Workshop. So we have a look at this. It's mainly the same. First of all, who are the champions? I already talked to you. Find the people with high reputation, and of course people who are willing and interested and open, of course, for new things. Yeah? These are the people we need in the champions team. This might not also only be administrative IT personnel. Of course not. Maybe it's also HR people. We need good communication skills, because these are the training people for the training for the users that are doing this. So it's very important to find the right people. And how is this workshop built? Of course, we have the basics in Teams. What's the idea of Teams? They also need to know this, like in the BDM workshop. They maybe do also a live demo, depends on how they are used to use Teams. Then we have this self-testing and a test tenant. And the last thing is that we try to use these brainstorming results from the first workshop and to find maybe 5 main teams we want to start with. Because when we go in the trainings for the users, it's not so good when we have an empty Teams. Well, the Teams should not be empty. We need something in there so that the users in the user training accepts that maybe 5 different processes will now be in teams. And we have to do this with the champions. We have to have a look at the brainstorming results, and we find 3, 4, 5 good topics, good Microsoft Teams processes we bring in Teams, and that we need for the users training. Well, I've bring to you 2 examples of good processes, very easy processes where Teams could help us very, very good. First of all, this was a customer. He always returns from products from his customers because they told him, okay, we don't want this laptop anymore. This is not as we expected. Please deliver a different one. So this first laptop is lying at this company and needs to be sold again. And therefore, one responsible person uses Excel, and in this Excel file, all the products are in there that needs to be sold. And he sends this Excel list once a month to all the salespersons. And in the workshop, we learned that the salesperson said, no, this is the first email what we delete when we get it, because it's always old. The Excel file is always old. We don't know what the products are in there. It's just a line in Excel, so we have no picture of it before our face because we don't know the product. Yeah. So what we changed here is we have a small Microsoft Teams team where this responsible person for the returning products can make a photo and post it here in the tab. Therefore, the salespersons have a better view on this. They see the product and they know, okay, here, have a look. This is a small, nice laptop. And so they better remember when a customer comes and is talking about a small, nice laptop, they remember they have seen it here on the channel. And of course, we can add this Excel file as a tab in this Microsoft Teams team. And the best thing is, this is always the right Excel, because we only have this one Excel file. It's not sent out via email to everybody, because then it gets old. So this is always the correct list of the products that are in this company that needs to be sold. It's always correct. So with this very small use case, we found a good solution for a problem this company has. And it's not business critical, because when it's not working, we can adapt this, or we can change this process. But it's even better than it was before. And the second thing maybe is an example on onboarding new employees, just to get them a good welcome. In smaller companies, this is a special thing. What I think is we have an onboarding channel, and there you can see you welcome all the new people in your company, and you can also talk about in a planner what trainings do they have to use when they come in a special department, or maybe you just show photos of all the other companies, of the other colleagues. So this new person who is coming into the company has the chance to learn the names and see the faces of his colleagues or her colleagues. So I think this is also a very small use case, but very nice to handle. Just to give you an example of 2 processes we use in Microsoft Teams. And last thing is now the workshop of the users. So this is a smaller training. It's about 1.5 hours. We have the basics of Teams, and also at the end we want the commitment of this training, the users, that our 5 main processes that we implemented in Microsoft Teams, that they will use these in the next time, just to get used to Microsoft Teams. So that's why they should not be business critical, because when the people do not start Teams in the morning because they don't want to, then that might be a problem. But these 5 main teams we have that are not business critical, it helps the user to better learn how to use Microsoft Teams. And further on, we have more. We can then go in the use case shopping to the departments. As I told you, the use case shopping workshop, we can do this now after the training from the users, or we can start, or maybe the people will start themselves to use Microsoft Teams even more when they getting used to use Teams. And the last part is the critical process. I just told you that these 5 main topics should not be a critical process for this company. But when everybody is used to use Teams, we also can talk about critical processes. So that might be projects for your customers from the beginning, from the sales department to the technical department and to the department that have to do the maintenance. So all these will be in one Microsoft Teams team, and we have to talk about these critical processes because it's a team and not a personal thing how we work. So we have to get all these people together and talk about the process. Yeah. Then I'm a big fan of Microsoft marketing around Microsoft Teams. This should be something like t-shirts, stickers. We all can use this. Also our Microsoft Teams champions get own t-shirts. And so this is a high and positive thing, emotion, what we get with this swag stuff. As you can see here, what we all can use in these solutions. Here is the official Microsoft swag store for Microsoft Teams. It's not so easy to find on the platforms. So this is the link. Have a look at it. When you want to, they only send it in the US, but when you wanted to have it in Europe and any other country, you can send them an UPS sticker and they will send it to you also. So, and also email templates and posters and everything we need to have marketing around Microsoft Teams adoption. And so we come to the conclusion, and what I want to tell you is the 3 main points. First of all, hold in mind my 5 tips for successful change. We talked about find the right people for the change process. This is very important. Find the right people in the champions team that helps you to adopt Microsoft Teams in the company. And of course, structure your SMB change process a little bit more compact than in enterprise companies. We cannot spend so many days on these workshops. It must be a little bit more compromised. Yeah. Thank you very much. This was my session, how to use or how to adopt Microsoft Teams at SMB customers. Would be great to follow me on LinkedIn or maybe YouTube. You can see many things around Microsoft Teams from me. And I can say goodbye and till the next time.